Well, g'day everyone and welcome back to the channel. Here we are on the banks of the Gibb River. You're going to see that episode in a few weeks' time. On this week's episode, we continue to make our way up along the Stuart Highway towards Darwin. We check out heaps of free camps along the way. We in fact find one that is so big, we just don't know where to park the van. So go and get yourself a cold drink, get your feet up for the next 20 minutes or so. If you're not subscribed to our channel, please hit the subscribe button and come and join Ali and I for the adventure. Hi, I'm Steve.
And I'm Alison.
We decided a couple of years ago that we'd work hard and save all of our money and start living life on our own terms.
So we bought a caravan and hit the road on a trip for two all around Australia.
So why not come and join us every week for our adventures? We've left our overnight camping area. We stayed down at Well last night. That was a great spot to stay. You get a real creaking and squeaking sound that comes out of that windmill, and a train rolled through probably about 9 o'clock last night. But other than that, it was a very peaceful night's sleep. I don't think the morning traffic started up again till about 6 or 7 o'clock, so it was quite good. Most of the other campers beat us out this morning. In fact, all the other campers beat us out this morning. We had a bit of a late start for the day. We didn't have too far to go. So we come up through Tennant Creek and we picked up some fuel there on our way up to the campsite where we are now, and this one's called Attack Creek. This is something that we saw last year and we thought, geez, we'd like to come back and stay because this is a great river, and I'll take you for a bit of a walk around and show you in a moment. It's just another one of the Northern Territory's 24-hour roadside stops. We got here quite early today. It's actually just gone lunchtime, and ordinarily we drive on, but Ali's got a bit of work to do, so she can sit in the van and relax and get all that stuff done that she needs to get done. The Savi. But what I thought I'd have a quick talk to you about is just the fuel prices up here. As I said, we stopped in Tennant Creek. We filled up there at the BP, but all the garages are about the same money. It's about $1.83 a litre. And then we continue on up the road. We come to Three Ways, and that's the intersection of the Stuart Highway and the Barkly Highway if you haven't been out here before. And the Three Ways petrol station is a very, very popular petrol station for a lot of travellers. But it is about 40 to 45 cents dearer per litre, considering you only need to drive 19 kilometres down the road to get, far cheaper fuel. And when you're buying bulk fuel, particularly for roads like this where you're filling jerry cans, filling tanks and doing all that sort of stuff, the savings can be very, very significant and worth the 38k turnaround by driving from Three Ways down, getting the fuel and driving your way back up. But yeah, it's just some money or a tip to save a bit of money on the road, and these things do add up over the course of the year. I mean, if I'm saving $40 a week in fuel simply by driving a couple extra kilometres, that's a savings of over $2,000 a year, money that can be spent on better things. But anyway, I'll give you a bit of a look around Attack Creek. So Attack Creek, just like a lot of the other 24-hour stops that we see here on the highway going up towards Darwin, is fully catered for. Lots of picnic tables, fireplaces, a little bit of cover, water, and we did speak about water when we were down at Wells yesterday, that you need to boil it for about 5 to 10 minutes is what I think they recommend. But this one has a difference. This one actually comes with a drop dummy. There is some really interesting history when you come here to Attack Creek. It was named by Stuart when he came up here on his expedition. When he came up, he was met by a member of the, and I hope I pronounced this right, I'll have to just try and read it, the Warumungu peoples who were living on the land in this area in about 1860. And the guy who spotted him from the Warumungu people had never ever seen a white man, let alone a white man wearing strange clothes and riding a horse. And he instantly, or his normal instinct, was to defend his country straight away, and he did. And it caused Stuart and his crew to turn around and go back. And nobody came back up here for a few years after that, but Stuart recorded quite a deal of the engagement in his diary, and he also named the place Attack Creek at the time. The historians recorded the Warumungu people to be quite a large nation of people living out in this area here, but unfortunately by about 1890 most of them had moved in and were living around the telegraph station back in Tennant Creek. The government at the time set aside some land for the Warumungu people to go and live on and do their thing, but once again, unfortunately for them, in the 1930s all of that was revoked when they discovered gold out there. And it's an interesting conversation, because Alice and I were talking about this when we were down at Uluru recently. What would have been the result of, them finding bloody gold in areas like that? Would it be the same lands as what we see down there today? I'm very thankful that they never found it down there, because they would have just torn it to pieces and got rid of all the people who lived down there, I suppose, at the time. But that was the way of the times, and it's hard to judge it with a 2025 eye. But yeah, certainly not the way we'd get away around things today, I don't think. So rest area here at Attack Creek. Al, what do you think of this one?
No, it's not too bad. It's quite big, and it's got the bonus toilet here if you need it.
It is, and as I said to you before, a lot of the campsites or the 24-hour stops along the Stuart Highway where there is a toilet facility, they're very, very popular, aren't they?
Extremely popular in the areas where there's toilets, yes.
They are. The interesting thing about Attack Creek, besides its history, is you can actually see the remnants of the old Stuart Highway here. We're actually standing on some of the old road surface as we speak, and just behind us, and I'll flick the camera through, is the old river crossing, which would have been a bit of a challenge in its day if the water was flowing.
I imagine it is, and that's why we have the improved road system that we have now.
It certainly is.
The Stuart Highway.
Check it out. So there's the old river crossing point. This is the road that we're obviously standing on. There's the river crossing, and you can see on the other side over there the road continues. But here's today's more modern bridge. When Ali and I were up here last year, there'd been some massive rainfalls through here, particularly along the Barkly and those sorts of places.
Yes.
And this river was full of water because when we drove past, there was people in here swimming, wasn't there?
I can't remember, but Steve can remember people in swimming. But yes, it was definitely very, very wet in that May area in 2024.
It was, but it's dry as a bone now. There's not even a puddle in it. Anyway, we're going to head back to the van. I'm going to have a think about what we're going to have for dinner tonight. I might even reintroduce, say, Cooking with Steve. I'm not sure if I'll do that. You'll just have to tune in for the next 3 or 4 minutes to find out. But Ali's got a little bit of work to do, don't you?
Yes, I'll catch up. I'll take the opportunity to catch up on a bit of work and a bit of study.
All right, back to the van. Well, as I said a little bit earlier, it's time for a bit of Cooking with Steve. Now, I'm not real sure about this one. I'm going to try and bake a cake in the Weber. Now, I've never done this before, but the other day, Ali and I were out and we bought ourselves a cheap cake mix. And I thought I'd give it a crack and see what happens. So anyway, I'll get it all together. We'll throw it out in the Weber and see if it works. As I said, we don't bake too many cakes, but this cake that we're going to do today is a cinnamon tea cake, and they're easy ingredients we keep inside the caravan. So it's just the cake mix itself, it's eggs, it's a bit of margarine, and it's some milk. It does say that I need an electric blender to whip all this together. We certainly don't have that, but I do have a whisk, and I have someone here who might be willing to get on the business end of that whisk, but we'll find out about that very soon.
I don't think so.
I get a feeling I'll be doing all the whisking for this one. Anyway, I've lit the barbecue and I'm preheating it. One thing I never know about the barbecue is how bloody hot it is, but we're going to find that out as we go along. So barbecue's preheating. I'll get all the cake mix together, then we'll stick it in, see how it goes. So I've had the Weber preheating now for about 10 minutes or so, and it's quite warm, so get the lid on it, 40 minutes, and she should be good. Well, here it is, the end result. It looks like a cake, it smells like a cake, and when it cools down, we'll see if it tastes like a cake. What are your thoughts, Al?
Well, it looks good and it smells good, so fingers crossed it will taste good.
Even if it doesn't, it's smoke for the next week. But yeah, it was pretty easy to do. Well, what do you reckon the cake, Al?
It was very nice, actually.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one, I've got to say. Wasn't too bad. It was pretty easy to bloody do in the Weber, wasn't it?
Well, you did all the work.
Yeah, well, it really she doesn't know because she sat there and continued on with her work. But it's pretty easy to do. I did have to cook it a little bit longer. So I think the instructions said 40 minutes and I cooked it for 50 because it wasn't quite cooked at 40. But I think that's because you get that airflow that comes through the Weber, unlike your oven at home. But it's easy, cheap, and it's morning tea for a week or so.
Yes, Stephen doesn't mind something for morning tea.
Well, good morning everyone. I've woken up here in Attack Creek this morning. What a great day. It's raining, it's cold, but all the bloody flies are gone. That's unbelievable considering what we put up with over the last couple of weeks. But all of those things aside, it was a great camp here last night. I didn't go out and film how many people come in, but it was absolutely chock-a-block. Every part of it was covered by campers or caravans last night, and everybody's moved on because it's like 10 o'clock in the morning now. Ali and I have a very slow start of the day. We've only got a small move today. We're only going about 100 k's up the road. What I will say about this camp though at Attack Creek is it is quite noisy here of a night. You're not too far away from the Barkly Highway. It's probably only about another 70 k's back down the road. So there's a lot more trucks using this part of the road between here and Darwin. So if you are sensitive to night noise, Attack Creek might not be your place to stay. Where we're going to today is a place we have stayed before. It's called the Maryville Ruins, or Sam's Find. You'll see that on Wikicamps. And as I said, it's only about 100 k's up the road. That one there, you can actually push yourself quite a deal off the road and escape a lot of that road noise of a night. But this is a facility which is an old cattle yard, or old stock yards, and you'll find when you get up there, there is nothing up there. So there's no toilets, there's no picnic tables, no barbecues. You need to be very, very self-sufficient in that particular area, but we thought it's a great option to show you as we travel further up the Stuart Highway towards Darwin. And just while I'm at the back of the car here before we leave Attack Creek, I thought I'd answer a question I get a lot, particularly from other travellers on the road and also through our social media. And it's just how we've rigged up our Starlink so we can use it all of the time. Really, really simple for us. We've got the Gen 2 Starlink, so that's the one that comes with the stand, or the earlier model, for want of a better term. But all I've done is, you can see I've got the dish connected here to the top of our toolbox. So I went to Bunnings, I bought some M6 bolts and some wing nuts, drilled some holes, bolted it all down on top of there, and you can see the dish sits on top of the toolbox. I bought this cable. This is a 5-metre cable for Starlink. I got that off Amazon. I think it was about 70 bucks. And then inside here, you can see I just lay the Wi-Fi router down and I plug it into our power station. And as we roll up the road, we're constantly got access to the internet, which is great for your navigation, phone calls, want to download something, upload something else, is doing some work while we're driving. It all works perfectly. We've had it running like this now for 2 years, and I can safely say it has never ever missed a beat. In fact, the only time that we don't get reception is if I park somewhere and the dish turns around and faces directly into the caravan because the van's not orientated the right way. Or if we've gone in under an awning like you're at the petrol station or something like that, it'll just block out that coverage for the period of time that your dish can't see the sky. But as soon as you start to move again, the dish flattens out as you travel, and we just absolutely beams in. It's been a great way to set up our Starlink and get the most of out of our 195 bucks a month, I can assure you of that. So we made our way up further along the Stuart Highway this morning. As I said, we've come to the place called Sam's Find. This is a great overnighter. This is actually the third time that we've stayed here. It's just a big open area and there's plenty of room for lots of vans in here. We got here maybe about 2 hours ago and it was just us and one other group, but since then I think about another 3 or 4 vans have pulled in and started setting up for the night. It's still only 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so I expect by later on this afternoon this area here will be quite full. You're reasonably close to the road, but at the same time you can put yourself a lot further away from the road. You can really reduce the noise or the road noise that comes from the Stuart Highway overnight. But one thing that we won't see this afternoon, so I'm going to cut out some footage from the last time we're here, is you get a beautiful sunset here because you're a little bit higher up at Sam's Find, because it is actually the ruins of the old homestead. I think it was Maryville Station or something used to be out here many, many years ago. And they obviously put the house up on top of the hill, so I'll cut in some footage of what the sunset looks like out here because it's pretty special to see. We're just getting to the end of the day. I said to you we get a great sunset. Check this out. That is unbelievable. It's getting a real glow about it now. We're just in the middle of nowhere, aren't we?
We are.
It's beautiful.
Bring on more sunsets like this.
Yes. So we left our overnight stay last night down at Sam's Find. Once again, another wonderful stay. And we've come a little bit further up the road, probably about 2 hours north now, to a place called the Charles Todd Memorial. It's a rest area. This one last year we come by was really, really popular because it's not too far away from the Dally Waters pub. So some people choose to stay here overnight, go through Dally Waters, have a bit of lunch, and then continue on up the Stuart Highway as they go further north. We were going to stop here tonight, but it's still only like 11 o'clock, so we've got a little bit of driving still left in us today. So we're going to go on about another 120, 130 k's now to a place called Gorrie Airfield. We're going to set up there for the next couple of nights, but I'll show you the roadside stop here. This one is very close to the road, but as you can see, Big level area, you can come and park your van. There's access to some water here, even though it is rainwater in the tank up there. There's toilets, which does make these stops very, very popular. And this particular one is, as you can see, right on the edge of the highway. So we come to our overnighter. We're staying at the Gorrie Airfield. I can see the track's got a few big puddles in it. There's been a little bit of rain up here recently. Apparently Catherine had 186 millimetres last night. That's not too far up the road. But anyway, we'll get through here and head out to the airfield. Well, after a reasonably long day of driving coming up from Sam's Find, I think in total today we probably drove a little over 400 kilometres or so. We've come all the way up here to Gorrie Field. Now I've got to say, we did spend a little bit of time at Dally Waters. We met up with Mick and Jody, some people that we met earlier on the road who you may have already seen on the channel. And we stopped and had a little bit of lunch there. I tell you what, that burger at Dally Waters is absolutely fantastic. We did say last year that if we ever come back through, we'd probably only ever stop in at Dally Waters for a meal or for a drink, rather than stay there for the night. I think it's one of those once and done places. Well, it is for us anyway. We've been there, we've stayed there. There's no need for us to ever stay there again, I don't think, but lunch is fantastic and the burger is good. We come up to Gorrie Field. It's an old World War II airstrip. It's about 3 kilometres in length. There are so many places here to camp. It gets confusing, even though you can drive, 3 kilometres all the way up and 3 kilometres all the way back. Finding the actual spot that you want can sometimes take a little bit of time, but we didn't muck around. We drove in, said, yep, bang, this will do us right here about halfway along the strip. I'll throw the drone up and give you a bit of a look around. If you are going to come and stay out here at the Gorrie Airfield, just continue north as you're coming up from Dally Waters, go through the township of Larrimah, and about 10 k's the other side of it, you'll just see a brown sign on the right hand side of the road and it says World War II Gorrie Airstrip. You'll see a dirt track with a gate on it. Just drive up. The gate is always closed, but you're able to drive through it, go over the top of the cattle grid and continue to follow the track around. In fact, Google Maps brings you right to the top of the airstrip. We come in today and you'll be probably able to see it here in the footage. There's been a fair bit of rain here over the last couple of days, so the track was a little bit wet, like lots of puddles and stuff, but it certainly wasn't slippery. It was quite an easy drive in fact. So then once you come out, it all opens up onto the airfield and then you just pick your place to camp. Well, as usual, Ali's busy working, so I've come in to ask her opinions on our trip camping, or free camping, all the way up along the Stuart Highway. What do you think, Al?
I've enjoyed actually the trip up the Stuart Highway, and we visited a few different free camps, but I did enjoy Gorrie Airfield last year, and I'm glad we came back again this year. It's a great spot to stop.
Yeah, you might remember last year we stopped and we just had a little bit of lunch there, but this year we stayed a couple of days, didn't we?
We did, yes.
It was great, and as I said in the video a little bit earlier, you just absolutely spoilt for choice when you get up there, because there's just so many places that you can camp. It's hard to put your finger on where to actually stop, and in the end we just gave up and just pulled over and stopped, because at the end of the day they're all the same, aren't they?
They are.
Everything's along the side of the airstrip. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you give us a like before you go. If you have any questions or comments on today's episode, hit us up in the comments section. And if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please consider doing so, because it really allows our channel to grow. Come and join us next week when we go a little bit further north, and I think we're going to go to Katherine, and we're going to go to one of our favourite places along the Stuart Highway, and we stop in at Bitter Springs to go a bit of a swim in the thermal pools.
Sounds good.
It certainly does. You guys have yourselves a great week. We can't wait to see you. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye-bye.